I'd shut down the FBI Hoover building on day one and reopening the next day as a museum of the deep state. And I'd take the 7,000 employees that work in that building and send them across America to chase down criminals. Go be cops.
What day is it?
So let me ask you this, and I have to, because I will tell you this, I'm not like close friends, but Dan Bongino and I have been friendly. I've always enjoyed my interactions with him, and so it's hard to be objective.
Yeah.
I think I have a good idea as to where his heart is, and I believe it's in the right place. And it could just be gridlock where he's not able to do a whole lot. But I will tell you this, objectively, if I were to grade the FBI in the first year of Donald Trump, if not an F, D minus. Would you guys say so? Weren't you expecting some very obvious arrests?
Yeah.
Some very obvious auditing?
Maybe some more transparency.
A little more transparency?
Yeah, based on what they said going in.
Exactly.
That's exactly right. And just so you don't take my word for it, we'll LeVar Burton this is what they were saying, the proclamations that were made before Kash Patel, Dan Bongino headed to the FBI.
Anyone that wishes to do harm to our way of life and our citizens here or abroad will face the full wrath of the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
So the moment Kash and I swore in, we realized that the first thing we had to do is rebuild public trust. This is your FBI. It's not mine. I tell the employees every day.
Not only are we informing the American public of what happened, but we can have accountability for it. And that takes a little bit more time.
We had to fix it and rebuild public trust.
And if you seek to hide in any corner of this country or any corner of this planet, we will put on the world's largest manhunt and we will find you. And we will decide your end state, not you.
My job now is to put aside my partisan interests and to responsibly handle the deputy director of the FBI position. You got to remember, Brian, nothing that gets to our desk, me or Kash, is a 5 or a 6 problem. Everything's a 10. The days of selecting and putting your partisan bias on and taking care of your friends, those days are over. If you think we're there for tea and crumpets, well, I mean, Kash is there all day.
Are you taking the
we share it. Our offices are linked. He turns on the faucet. I hear it. He's there he gets in at like 6 o'clock in the morning.
Whoa.
Easy.
That is
Whoa
early.
there, early riser. We didn't expect you to be there for tea and crumpets. And we're not all that impressed with getting up at 6 in the morning because what we expected was Patel to turn the Hoover building into a museum.
The biggest problem the FBI has come out of its intel shops. I'd break that component out of it. I'd shut down the FBI Hoover building on day one and reopening the next day as a museum of the deep state. And I'd take the 7,000 employees that work in that building and send them across America to chase down criminals. Go be cops. You're cops. Go be cops. Go chase down murderers and rapists and drug dealers and violent offenders. What do you need 7,000 people there for? Same thing with DOJ.
What day is it?
Sorry, you must have mispronounced get up at 6.
Day 1,000?
Yeah.
Is like a did we short?
And here's the thing. If you make reasonable promises, people will have set expectations.
Right.
And by the way, I don't even think that's an unreasonable promise. He just hasn't done it. So let's go through the good, the bad, and the ugly here with the FBI. And again, I'm doing my best to be objective here. I hope you can understand how sometimes it's difficult where you have some people who you know.
Yeah.
So here's one of the good ones. The FBI, basically they foiled a New Year's Eve terror plot by a leftist group with a very silly name, the Turtle Island Liberation Front.
And their co-conspirators detailed coordinated plot to bomb multiple U.S. companies on New Year's Eve. Thankfully, that plot has now been foiled thanks to the hard work of the FBI and the Department of Justice. This investigation was initiated in part due to the September 2025 executive order signed by President Trump to root out left-wing domestic terror organizations in our country, such as Antifa and other radical groups like the Turtle Island Liberation Front.
And you know what I just realized, too, when people say the biggest threat to American, I heard, what's his name, Roland Martin on Piers Morgan saying, it's domestic terrorism is white men.
Oh, boy.
Well, when we say the biggest sort of, I guess, epicenter of terrorism, hotbed, springboard, launching pad is Islam, you know, that can include people from many different races, right? I mean, think about it. People who are Qatari, very different from people who are Somalian or Turkish or, ethnically they'd be Persian. But you still have issues of terrorism. So when they say white males, well, TILF for short, right? The Turtle Island Liberation Front. I'm sure there are some white men in there, but you would put them in the same category as those militiamen who, by the way, I don't believe have killed anybody in recent memory. TILF is an anti-capitalist group dedicated to, quote, liberation through decolonization and tribal sovereignty. There isn't a unifying ideology amongst people who are white. Matter of fact, you couldn't go to any white neighborhood, pick 5 houses, and find people unified in ideology, in theology, in philosophy. You would find people very much unified if you were to take Islamists from Turkey or Somalia. So that's another way that they mislead you.
Yeah.
Their plan here was to attack somewhere in Los Angeles. They were caught assembling bombs. They targeted a couple of U.S. companies and, of course, ICE agents, vehicles.
Wonder where they got that idea from.
White guys. You just throw them all in the same pot. I can do that with Islam regardless of race. You can't do that. What's the ideology of white male? Here's the bad. The sort of press tour thing.
Yeah.
And I understand that messaging is important. And I wouldn't have a problem with them going on podcasts and communicating to the public if it was in the name of or in pursuit of transparency. We're not seeing that. We're seeing a lot of press hits that seem to be more self-serving than serving the American people. Again, just my opinion. So right now, the FBI, they're offering a $50,000 reward for the Brown shooter. And, okay. So we're going to talk about transparency, right? I understand crowdsourcing, especially now, and do the same thing with journalism. Here's what the public has as a jumping off point. These pictures posted by Kash and this video posted by the Providence Police. Oh, so the Slender Man.
Oh, there he is. I see him now. Kinda. I see half of him.
People calling the cops. Yes, I believe I just saw the Mothman prophecy.
Isn't this from Signs?
Something about chapstick?
Yeah. So they released that and say, hey, can you help us? We really want you to take part. By the way, this video of the suspect has also been making the rounds. Yeah. And keep in mind, Brown University has more than 800 security cameras.
Wow.
This is where people say, hey, hold on a second. I'm asking some questions. And a legitimate question is, 800 security cameras? An active manhunt? That's all you have? I find that difficult to believe. Why is this all we have? That's a pretty reasonable question.
Oh, I forgot to hit record.
Yeah. And by the way, that actually
one.
can be the case. I'm not saying it's the case here, but that can be the case where sometimes you run out of space. It shouldn't happen at a school.
They run out of VHS.
But I know people who've had that on their home security systems where it's like, you need to pay for upgraded storage and you lose it. But there should be answers for that.
People delete stuff too. That happens.
Yeah, this was the school that was nicknamed the surveillance school in the school newspaper.
Well, I think Nancy Mace has the footage.
Yes, she does.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Call her up.
Yeah, it's just her and nothing but a bathrobe with a fridge camera.
She's right next to the guy in the bushes.
Now, here's the thing. So they're doing that. That's all they give you. Okay. All right. I understand using the press for transparency or using it to try and protect the American people. I don't think that was done very effectively. What was, however, was going on the Katie Miller podcast. Kash Patel did that with his girlfriend.
We are so excited to be joined by Kash and his beautiful girlfriend, Alexis. So I just want to clarify, you're not Jewish.
I'm not.
You are not from Israel.
No.
So how did we get to, are you a Mossad agent?
That's a great question.
Where's her ring? Just to clarify, how often has he traveled to see you since January 20th? Has there been one moment where you're like, you can't make this up?
Hard no.
Now, who is Katie Miller related to?
Stephen Miller.
That's right.
By marriage, I believe.
No, none of them have appeared here with, exponentially more viewership and have been invited. And to be clear, I think it's wrong what they did with, I believe it's Alexis Wilkins. I think she's a good kid. I've spoken with her in the past. She's Armenian Orthodox. I've not seen anything that says that would suggest any evidence that she's a Mossad honeypot. So I understand how much that must suck. And even the people who made those claims kind of backed off from it.
Yeah, but suing the people.
Yeah, and going after suing people and then going after the podcast space to clear that up, but not the shooting. Now, to be clear, this interview was pre-taped.
Yeah.
And Miller even actually wrote this. She said it was taped prior to Sunday. But when people talk about the swamp, this very much does seem like, hey, where is the most sensible podcast here, sensible show where I could reach the most amount of people and it be done in good faith, but be challenged? It's not Miller's wife. That very much seems like favors for favors. And it's not a good look. No. It's not a good look.
And by the way, I want Kash spending 0% of his time on this.
Right.
You know, like he's the director of the FBI. I don't want him to go to sit down to kind of defend this situation. Like, just they made way too much of this. Just move on.
Well, how about spending resources, like using the FBI jet to allegedly go see his girlfriend perform at a state college or state college in Pennsylvania, I believe. Yeah, is it called State College? Boy, talk about generic.
Just have one of the other parents record it for you.
That's Penn State.
Is it Penn State?
A state college in Pennsylvania.
It's just, okay, so it's a state college. I've written down here in my notes, state college.
State College, PA, I think, is short for Penn State, but I could be wrong.
That's horrible.
There could be a Pennsylvania
That's
college.
Just so generic.
State College, too.
I'm thinking
State College is the name of the city.
Oh, in State College, Pennsylvania. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I was wondering why he was dating a college-age woman.
No, I'm the one who got that wrong. I just thought it was called State College, where someone's like, well, what do we call it? I was State College.
Well,
yeah.
Penn State is in State College.
I understand now.
Oh, okay. See, there we go.
But yeah, you're right. Yeah, record it. And by the way, I also understand he can go. he can go visit his girlfriend. That's not someone you would use the FBI jet for. That doesn't seem appropriate. And then he again used his media appearance time, some of it, to defend what I would say is not really all that defensible.
I've also used the airplane less than my prior two predecessors. And yes, I'm entitled to a personal life just like my other agency had counterparts with their partners. So do I support my girlfriend? Absolutely. And do I take trips with her? Absolutely.
So, to be clear, he criticized, by the way, of course, the use of the jets. Girlfriend, in that case, is not the same as like a wife, like a first lady.
Right.
And
that sentence is funny, though.
Yeah.
As the FBI director, I would like to support my girlfriend.
So I don't give a shit.
Okay.
Fine.
What are you, the head of Gilmore Girls? What is this?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The director of Dawson's Creek?
Yeah, as head of the FBI, I will bring her Midol and watch Ryan Gosling films.
I will get to the bottom of that true crime story she's been listening to for the last 4 weeks.
You'll just watch another episode.
I will get to the bottom of, with the Notebook, like the other guy seems like a good guy. Why was he hung out to dry? I'll get to the bottom of it for America.
Press conference. We have made an arrest of the person who's been talking behind my girlfriend's back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Becky.
It's always Becky.
We're coming for you, Becky.
Shouldn't have said those things about my eyes.
Yeah. And he's had a few big swings. And I will tell you, it seems to come from someone being pretty thoughtless. That's my read on Kash Patel. Like on September 10th, he did screw this up. He prematurely out there sort of insinuated that Charlie Kirk's alleged shooter was in custody. You shouldn't rush to X to post something unless you've double, triple, quadruple verified it.
Especially as the director of the FBI.
Yes.
Not just like some dude. He's not even just like the sheriff of a small county in Wyoming. He's the director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. It's crazy.
Well, when people say the swamp, what they mean is those in government using it for personal means. And Kash Patel has given off that vibe. Like, for example, he did this in October. He was pushing President Trump and the White House to celebrate Diwali. How's that? Why should America care?
President, it's an honor to be a first-generation Indian American whose parents lawfully immigrated to this country, and under your leadership, so many more millions of Americans are living that dream. And to celebrate it here in the Oval Office on Diwali, which you said, rightfully so, is a triumph of good over evil. It's just an incredible honor. It's incredibly humbling.
Demon worship, but
Indian Americans
whatever.
around the world and Indians around the world are thrilled that you are such a profound leader in sharing this diversity with the world, and we can't thank you enough. And happy Diwali.
Yeah, I don't like anything that I just heard. And I'm not saying that it's right, but when people talk about, is this nation a Christian nation, the founding fathers, I'm not saying it's right, but George Washington would have had him hanged. Like that, just so you guys, and I say this because I remember Dave Smith saying, like, all presidents are guilty of war crimes except for George Washington. Have you read anything about George Washington?
Yeah, he would have hung him and then went through his teeth.
Yes.
Picking out the good ones.
What do you got in there? Skittle?
My teeth hurt. I want to die. That's what he said on his deathbed.
Listen, I wouldn't doubt it.
That's one of the things that pisses me off the most because, like you said, this nation was founded as a Christian nation. Like we weren't founded as a theocracy, but we were founded by Christian men and women. State constitutions reflected this. The way we set everything up reflects that truth, right? It was set up for a Christian people. For him to have Diwali celebrations and not know that is to false gods that are completely antithetical. It's not like, oh, we do our thing, you do your... Right. No. This isn't good triumphing over evil. We'll go deeper by one level. Why should we care at all? And he also said, and you've made it possible for millions more of these Americans. Why? Why millions more Americans that weren't Americans coming in just in wave after wave after wave into our country? Listen, they just don't share our values. I'm sorry. But like, yeah, but they like freedom. Do they really? Does it look like that over there with the caste system? With the worshiping of 360 million or whatever the number is gods? That's not what we do here. Or in the Oval Office. Sorry.
Yeah. Also, I don't think there's any more freedom to be found than in Christ.
You know, they're looking in cow dung, though, so maybe they'll find some there.
That's pretty rough. But yes.
Yeah. In Christ and South Dakota. Yeah, I think you can do whatever you want in South Dakota.
There's no one there.
I don't think they have police.
No.
It's true.
It's very sparse.
No, it's just a couple of Indian chiefs.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And by the way,
and some mountains.
Not Diwali Indians, the drinking Windex Indians.
Yes.
Yeah.
Diwali, even we don't celebrate that bullshit. What is the Diwali tribe? What?
Any other pagan religions we want to throw into the Oval Office of the White House?
Yeah. I will say that's what people say. You change your mind. I've dropped the term Judeo-Christian because it's redundant. Just Christian. Let's just be clear. That's what this nation was for. It was for a Christian and moral people. Doesn't mean that everyone here has to be a Christian, but that is the basis of our governance.
I know why it's Judeo, though.
I get it.
The values that are coming from the Old Testament that did not exist in mankind. We've talked about it before, so I get it. So people that make a huge deal out of that.
I don't make a big deal out of it, but I just say Christian. I get it.
That's something that has been kind of in the ether right now, and I'm like, listen, what are you making a political statement? You're not. But
Judeo's fun to say.
Yeah, it's fun to say, but I understand the idea of not equating it as it relates to the founding documents.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense.
Where we're pretty clear. It's like Christian. And that doesn't mean that you can't be Jewish. And by the way, it doesn't even mean that you can't be Catholic. But they were pretty adamant that they didn't want anyone who had an allegiance to a Vatican. That was a thing. So it was Christian. It was it was entirely Protestant Christian. Just to be clear. And they said that this form of governance wouldn't work.
Turns
if
out
that wasn't maintained. Turns out they were right about that. Turns out they were some pretty smart guys.
Yeah.
And then it brings us to
who knew?
Yeah.
And very young.
Dan Bongino. So there was some recent reporting out there from Miranda Devine, quoting some sources at the FBI, that Dan is maybe on the way out, but that some of the FBI rank and file, and I understand people could say the rank and file could be sort of holdovers from Biden. That's a legitimate conversation to have. But that some people at the FBI are disgruntled with the leadership. Here's the reporting from New York Post. It says, they, Kash and Dan Bongino, are spending too much time on social media and public relations and are too often concerned with building their own personal resumes. Now, so she was saying, hey, you're making this, or people are saying in the department, you're making this too much about you. And Dan Bongino responded very much not liking and kind of making it about him, where he wrote, Deep State Divine strikes again. Miranda loves attacking our reform agenda with gossipy anecdotes from disgruntled former employees because she's upset that her, quote, reporting keeps falling apart under scrutiny. You can always count on Miranda for a timed hit piece when the director and I make big changes. Miranda prefers the old guard. I don't. Full steam ahead. Here's the thing. I also understand it's the easiest thing in the world where people go, hey, let's sort of try and impugn your character here. Look, disgruntled employees. And it's even cheaper when they do it with like employees who were fired with cause. But is that affecting the FBI's ability to do their job right now? No. Why waste time on it?
Yeah. And I think most of that is really leveled. Like if you go back up to Miranda's quote, and she's not talking about Dan leaving or anything. She's just saying there are some people that have come out kind of proclaimed Trump supporters in the administration for the FBI that says they're spending too much time on this. I think most of that seems to be leveled at Kash.
Yeah.
He's doing too many podcasts. He's focusing too much on his resume. And that makes sense for Kash. Dan doesn't seem like the guy that's focused too much on his resume.
No, I will say there's a difference.
Yeah.
But for him to go out of his way to respond to it,
that's exactly right.
You end up proving her point, even if she wasn't really talking about it.
Well, deep state divine, I don't understand what he's trying to say there. Like, I'm not sure where he's getting any of that from.
Maybe that she leans left.
I think what he's saying is that when he says deep state divine, that she likes the old guard. The deep state.
And by the way, there's probably
which they did not get rid of.
Right, they did not get rid of.
So it's like a weird, like, what are you even referencing? It's still there.
Well, either way, there's no way out of it. If you go, well, the people who are disgruntled, they're holdovers, and it's people who like the deep state. Okay, you said you were going to get rid of them. Why didn't you? Or they actually are pro-Trump workers there, and they're upset that you didn't get rid of the deep state. There's no real good answer, unless this whole thing is just fabricated, and that may be so, but people are perceiving this FBI a certain way because of what you guys directly are doing and saying. And it hasn't yielded the results, and you haven't delivered on the promises that you made. This is not people, because there are people, I want to be clear, I'm separating the two. There are people who just go, I want every single person to hold out in cuffs. Well, that's not going to happen. But then there's a huge group of people going, hey, we did have expectations based on the promises you made.
Yeah.
I think that those people actually deserve answers. That's my position. Again, remember, all the group of people who are acting in good faith want you to do at the FBI is exactly what you promised you would do. Let's make this redundant.
Anyone that wishes to do harm to our way of life and our citizens here or abroad will face the full wrath of the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
So the moment Kash and I swore in, we realized that the first thing we had to do is rebuild public trust. This is your FBI. It's not mine. I tell the employees every day.
Not only are we informing the American public of what happened, but we can have accountability for it. And that takes a little bit more time.
We had to fix it and rebuild public trust.
And if you seek to hide in any corner of this country or any corner of this planet, we will put on the world's largest manhunt and we will find you. And we will decide your end state, not you.
My job now is to put aside my partisan interests and to responsibly handle the deputy director of the FBI position. You got to remember, Brian, nothing that gets to our desk, me or Kash, is a 5 or a 6 problem. Everything's a 10. The days of selecting and putting your partisan bias on and taking care of your friends, those days are over. If you think we're there for tea and crumpets, well, I mean, Kash is there all day. We share it. Our offices are linked. He turns on the faucet. I hear it. He's there he gets in at like 6 o'clock in the morning.
The biggest problem the FBI has come out of its intel shops. I'd break that component out of it. I'd shut down the FBI Hoover building on day one and reopening the next day as a museum of the deep state. And I'd take the 7,000 employees that work in that building and send them across America to chase down criminals. Go be cops. You're cops. Go be cops. Go chase down murderers and rapists and drug dealers and violent offenders. What do you need 7,000 people there for? Same thing with DOJ.
And your supporters are still asking the exact same thing. Again, I very much like Dan, and I wish him a long and happy life and career, but I don't think, you guys let me know, do you think you're getting what you signed up for, what you paid for? I would say no.
At least address this point, because that interview was 6 months-ish before he was on day one.
Yeah.
It's not like this was something he said 5 years ago.
Right.
And he had a chance to kind of evolve in his position. Mm-hmm. Go out there and say, you know what I said when I came in is that we were going to do this. It's going to take a little bit more time than day one. I said it I shouldn't have said it like that. I should have said one of my first things that I will try to get done is this, and that's going to take a little time. Or something to the effect,
and by the way,
show us he's going to do it.
This is where people have a point where they go, well, yeah, they're trying to distract you with, okay, here's this win here, but we're not doing the things that we promised. When you have the Democrat Party who basically say they're going to impeach Donald Trump, they're going to make it so that he can't run for office again. And as soon as they are at the levers of power, they do exactly that. And then you have these promises, by the way, based on public, legitimate evidence of corruption, whether it's January 6th, whether it's people like Schiff, Ray, Comey, they kind of all bleed together. It's like, okay, what's actually being done? Because the left destroyed the current president's life for far less. For far, far less. I mean, I would argue that we have done more that the Mug Club Undercover has done more, just with the DOJ story, just with Jay Varma.
Yeah.
They've been more effective in actually, maybe not getting people arrested because we can't do that, but rendering people completely neutralized who were in positions of power and using it corruptly. So it's not like we don't have experience here. And yeah, I think it's a legitimate grievance. And I also think people saying like, hey, deep state, Pam Bondi, lobbyist for Qatar.
Yeah.
Is she going to be objective? Epstein, right, with her track record there.
Still nothing on Epstein?
Yeah.
Still not. Still, I guess they're still using the highlighters.
And when people see
court docs were released, Ghislaine's court docs are going to be released. That's the latest. But other than that, Pam Bondi's going to give it a nice review.
Is it going to be a Christmas miracle? Like, we waiting on the 25th?
Well, and you can't always rely on Donald Trump's executive orders because people have a point. Well, those can be reversed.
They can.
Those can be reversed. So
Day one.
Democrats achieve power, boom. They start prosecuting. They start persecuting people. Donald Trump comes in, and not just Donald Trump, but you're talking about a team of people promising justice, promising rooting out corruption, and very little happens. That's when you get people who say, oh, you know what, burn it all down. And I don't agree with that, if only for the immigration issue. I certainly think that this administration is leagues better, and there's a stark contrast to Joe Biden, or my God, Kamala Harris, who is saying she's going to run again.
Oh, please do.
That'd be great for the Republican Party.
Yeah.
Would, yeah.
Yeah, but I tell you what, if they keep going this way, someone like Kamala Harris would actually have a chance at winning. That's the crazy thing.
They may run on releasing the Epstein files now. We've given them that opportunity.
Yeah, good point.
You know what? I don't know if they're trying to wait for midterms or something like that, but whatever they're doing is just not working right now.
Yeah.
It's just bad. And listen, I understand there's a 0.01% chance that because it's the FBI, we hear a lot about the bad stuff, not nearly as much about the good stuff that they're doing and a lot of the things that they're in process.
Mm-hmm.
But man, that's a 0.01. Okay. And if that's the case, now's the time to roll it out.
Mm-hmm.
Start trumpeting the wins. Start showing us that you're converting stuff into a museum. Start showing 7,000 people that were in the J. Edgar Hoover building going out and being cops in this country. Show us that.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Show us delivering on your promises.
Yep.
I'm not seeing it. Oh, you're still here? And you're still watching this on YouTube? You've probably noticed something is missing by now. I'm not here. That's because the Live Daily Show is now streaming exclusively on Rumble weekdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. Tune in there, where nothing is censored.